Arisu has everything money can buy, yet his life is hollow and lonely, and his only comfort is a mysterious late-night school radio show hosted by a girl called Apollo until one night she vanishes without a trace. Unable to let go, Arisu sets out to find her. The story begins at Furin High School, which has recently changed from an all-boys school into a co-ed institution. The homeroom teacher nervously announces the change, admitting that the transition may be awkward at first, but expressing hope that everyone will learn to get along. Suddenly, Arisu stands up. He bluntly points out the awkward pauses the teacher is taking and demands that the announcement be redone properly, shocking all. Regaining his composure, the teacher deflects the moment and tells Arisu to introduce himself first. Seizing the opportunity without hesitation, Arisu proudly announces himself as the heir to the powerful Yamabuki group, declaring that he is a man destined to carry Japan into the future, boasting with exaggerated confidence that he is already 99% perfect and that, in order to reach absolute perfection, he needs all the girls in the class to tell him they love him. Later, several boys corner Arisu and accuse him of driving away all the girls with his outrageous behavior, but he remains completely unfazed and calmly responds that adversity is what builds character. At that moment, a girl approaches him and frankly admits that she knows the Yamabuki group is extremely wealthy, and that, because of that, she wants to become his girlfriend, prompting Arisu to stand, ask her to whisper something into his ear, and then casually dismiss her after listening, excusing himself under the pretense of going to the restroom. Arisu wanders from classroom to classroom, hoping to finally encounter the girl he seeks. But after failing yet again, he recalls his bleak past when his only reason to keep living is a late-night radio show hosted by a girl who calls herself Apollo. Every night he listens to her voice, imagining an ideal love story unfolding between them, until suddenly a girl sneaks up behind him in the present and whispers, "I love you," into his ear, causing his body to react instinctively. Shocked, Arisu demands to know who she is, but the girl only teasingly reminds him that break time is almost over, and that he never actually went to the restroom, leaving him standing there in confusion. Later, in the cafeteria, Arisu finds himself unable to stop thinking about the girl, whose voice sounds eerily similar to Apollo's, though he convinces himself that he cannot be certain because she caught him at an unfortunate moment. Just then, a girl's voice echoes through the school intercom, and the instant Arisu hears it, he bolts toward the broadcasting room. As he runs, memories of Apollo flood his mind, and he wonders if she might be closer than he ever imagined, recalling how he is once her only listener, how they speak regularly through her show, Midnight Heart Tune, and how close they become, despite never meeting. She often talks about her desire to attend an all-girls school, and after her sudden disappearance from the internet, Arisu gathers every detail from their conversations, realizes she is the same age as him, and deduces that she wants to attend an all-girls school near the ocean, which leads him to discover that only Furin fits those conditions and ultimately enroll there in hopes of getting closer to her. Standing before the broadcasting room door in the present, Arisu takes a deep breath, fully convinced that Apollo is waiting for him on the other side, and that meeting her will finally make him feel whole again. Instead, when he opens the door, he is greeted by 4 girls, forcing him to quickly compose himself, as he explains that he wants to ask them something, only to be immediately scolded for barging in without warning. He apologizes at once, but his gaze lingers on the girls as he notices that each of their voices bears a resemblance to Apollo's, leaving him stunned. One of them, Rika, casually asks if he is also aiming to go professional, which only confuses Arisu further, until Nini snaps at him for being clueless. Finally, Iko explains that they are members of the broadcasting club, all of whom aspire to build careers using their voices. While Shinobu reveals her ambition to become a news announcer, Iko declares her goal of becoming a VTuber. Nene announces her dream of becoming a voice actress, and Rika states that she wants to be a singer, leaving Arisu standing there as he takes in the unexpected complication before him. Jokingly, Shinobu mentions that she has already heard rumors about the strange classroom speech of Arisu in which he demands a lover, and before he can properly explain himself, Nene suddenly lashes out physically, calling him a complete creep and a degenerate while openly accusing him of having disgusting intentions. Deeply offended, Arisu sharply clarifies that he is not acting out of lust or obsession, and that he is simply searching for someone important to him. But his words are immediately misunderstood when Iko pulls up her VTuber character on a screen and assumes he must have come to see her specifically. But when Arisu firmly denies this, Rika steps forward and assumes instead that he is there for her, which only increases his irritation as he finally raises his voice and states clearly that he has no ulterior motives toward any of them, and that all he wants is to find Apollo. The girls exchange confused looks and ask what an Apollo even is, which shocks Arisu deeply because he is completely convinced that Apollo must be one of them. Then, it suddenly occurs to Arisu that Apollo may be deliberately hiding her identity, causing him to regret mentioning her so directly, and decide that he will have better opportunities to investigate later without drawing suspicion. He turns to leave, but the girls coldly stop him and tell him never to show his face in the broadcasting club again, because outsiders are not allowed, which triggers a memory of Apollo telling him that she wants to pursue a career using her voice. Acting quickly, Arisu proposes a deal, offering to provide them with new, high-end equipment that will drastically improve their sound quality if they allow him to remain in the club. Finding the offer impossible to refuse, the girls agree, and to show their gratitude, they collectively lean in and whisper, "I love you," into his ear. Those words send Arisu spiraling as they remind him of the moment when he once confessed his feelings to Apollo, and the memory overwhelms him enough that he panics and rushes out of the room. Soon as he regains his composure, he reminds himself that he is no longer a naive child, and resolves to find Apollo not out of romance, but to ensure that she can never use their past connection to blackmail him once he inherits the Yamabuki group. The following day, Arisu decides to carefully observe the broadcasting club members and gather detailed notes on each of them. And when he enters the club room early in the morning, he finds only Shinobu, who explains that she arrives ahead of everyone else to practice because she tends to make mistakes during broadcasts. As Arisu attempts to speak, she silences him and immediately prepares for the morning announcement, prompting him to watch closely while reviewing the information he has gathered on her. Shinobu is a flawless student on paper, serving as vice president of the student council and admired by nearly everyone at school, and just hearing her calm, refined voice causes Arisu to briefly believe that she might truly be perfect, until she suddenly becomes tongue-tied on air and stumbles over her words. The mistake frustrates Arisu so much that he scolds her without realizing the microphone is still live, unintentionally broadcasting his criticism to the entire school. Later, outside the club room, Arisu notices Nene surrounded by classmates who eagerly ask her about the latest volume of a manga titled Lily, and when she excitedly confirms that she owns it, Arisu remembers that Apollo also loves the same series. Observing Nene more closely, he notes that she enjoys cosplay and is popular with everyone, and as she begins voice acting a scene from the manga, he finds himself captivated until she completely botches her lines, making him briefly wonder if something is wrong with her ability. When Nene notices Arisu staring, she loudly tells her friends that he is creeping her out, forcing him to barely escape the resulting angry crowd. At that point, Arisu finally realizes the core issue behind his failure to identify Apollo, understanding that he has only ever heard her voice through a phone, which naturally distorts how it truly sounds. That distortion explains why matching her real voice has been so difficult. Suddenly, Iko sneaks up behind him and startles him so badly that he falls down the stairs, and while shaken, he recalls the information he has collected about her, noting that she serves as the club's technical support and boasts a massive following within the otaku community. When Arisu asks why she is there, Iko casually explains that it is time for her daily stream, quickly setting up her tablet and running a brief 5-second broadcast, which irritates him deeply. Arisu criticizes her lack of dedication and seriousness, but Iko casually counters that her fans do not care about such things. And unwilling to waste energy arguing, Arisu leaves while concluding that everyone in the broadcasting club lacks true commitment, unlike Apollo, who is genuinely determined to pursue a career through her voice. Because of that determination, Arisu once promised himself that he will someday learn proper voice support techniques so that he can help her achieve her dream. Later that day, Shinobu goes live again and performs poorly as usual, and without thinking, Arisu hijacks the microphone and announces that he has had enough of the broadcasting club's mediocrity, declaring that he intends to force everyone to improve. Before he can say anything further, the girls physically throw him out of the club room. Moments later, Arisu receives a notification that leaves him breathless. For the first time in years, Apollo goes live. She admits she cannot reveal her identity, but confesses that she loves him alone, and her voice is clearly coming from the broadcasting room. Arisu keeps wondering why Apollo would be inside the room and still refuse to meet him. For a second, he considers barging back in and demanding to know which of the four girls is the mysterious singer, but he stops himself, deciding that if Apollo wants to stay hidden, he will not act like a desperate creep and force the issue. Instead, he swears to uncover the truth one day, and, until that glorious revelation, he will grind like a maniac to help all four girls achieve their dreams. From the very next morning, he turns into an over-enthusiastic boot camp commander. He drags the girls out for training, preaching that a fit body sharpens the voice. The girls think 6 in the morning is an ungodly hour, especially Iko, whose only real ambition at that moment is inhaling ice cream instead of jogging. Arisu, however, runs backward like some show-off superhero and still moves faster than everyone else. After what feels like a marathon, he declares the session a simple warm-up. Nene snaps that they have known him for only a day and nobody appointed him coach, but Arisu, dripping with arrogance, announces that perfection runs in his veins and therefore only he is worthy of the role. Shinobu tries to calm the rebellion, admitting that the guy might be annoying, but at least he is genuinely trying to help. Otherwise, none of them would have shown up. Rika fires back that each girl has a different dream and wonders how this self-proclaimed genius can judge such separate paths. Arisu doubles down, claiming there is no task on Earth he cannot conquer, though he decides that breakfast is more important than arguing. The girls refuse to eat while soaked in sweat, so after showers and fresh clothes, they meet at a restaurant where Arisu hands each of them a notebook stuffed with plans. Iko receives instructions for auditioning at a VTuber agency. Shinobu gets a course outline for becoming a better anchor, and poor Nene is buried under an entire mountain of books to prepare for the level 3 kanji exam. And as for Rika, her mission is to write her own songs, perform on the streets, and sell 50 CDs to build her confidence. She is anything but thrilled and asks whether Arisu has ever even touched an instrument. He proudly admits he has never played a single one, only whistled now and then. Rika explodes, saying a clueless amateur has no right to lecture her about music, but Arisu ignores the meltdown and lectures her about chasing dreams instead of rotting in comfort. When she asks whether he ever gets nervous, he boasts that the Yamabuki family dictionary contains no such word. Rika calls him a massive liar and storms off, leaving Arisu blinking like an abandoned puppy. Nene explains that Rika is genuinely talented at singing and writing lyrics, and having a music-ignorant boy judge her wounds her pride. Shinobu defends Arisu, yet the damage is done. The realization hits him like a truck that Rika thinks he is incapable of learning music. Determined to prove otherwise, he decides to attend her mini-concert at school, which she performs every Wednesday, though she usually avoids her own songs. At the concert, Rika admits she still feels nervous every time, a confession eerily similar to what Apollo used to say. She sings, and her soft voice matches Apollo so perfectly that Arisu forgets the entire reason he came. After the performance, he apologizes for the morning disaster and praises her talent, again pushing the idea of street performances and CD sales. Rika shuts him down, telling him to stay out of her personal life, and vanishes. The next day, Arisu avoids the club entirely, and Rika begins to feel guilty for roasting him too hard. While wandering through school, she notices students yelling at someone outside. To her shock, it is Arisu, clumsily attempting to play guitar in public. She can see from his battered fingers that he practiced all night. She moves beside him to settle the crowd, and they play together. While his performance is painfully awful, exactly what one would expect from a single night of learning, but the courage impresses Rika. Later, she compliments his insane confidence, claiming he truly might never feel nervous, and Rika suddenly hugs him just to test the theory. This time, the fearless warrior actually gets nervous, exposing his bluff. Meanwhile, Nene has become mysteriously busy. Arisu nags her about kanji practice, but she keeps escaping with lame excuses. Shinobu notices the change and points out that whenever Nene lies, her ears turn red, meaning she is not annoyed with Arisu, but simply terrible at asking for help. Arisu follows her to a classroom and discovers her secretly practicing voice acting. He notices that her tone is soft and adorable, like a kitten begging for attention, yet her delivery is emotionless and dull. Arisu criticizes the performance, earning a book to the face and a lecture about manners. He spots the manga she is reading and learns that it is a hugely popular story, soon to receive an adaptation seeking voice artists. The plot revolves around a princess secretly in love with a knight, unable to confess because of her royal status. When the knight dies before her eyes, she cannot even cry openly, so she pretends to wipe dirt from his helmet and steals a hidden kiss as a final goodbye. Nene finds the tale heartbreakingly emotional. Arisu, surprised by her taste, leans in too close and freaks her out. She orders him to leave so she can practice, but he stubbornly stays and begins sharing his own embarrassing memories, including a middle school trip where he shamefully wet the bed, proving that the so-called perfect hero is actually just another chaotic idiot trying way too hard. Arisu continues his parade of shame, confessing that even at the dentist, he once wet his pants, unloading one humiliating memory after another like a broken embarrassment vending machine. Nini finally opens up. She admits that it is not that she refuses to show emotions. She simply cannot feel the character at all. The manga heroine is in love. Without those real feelings, she believes her voice acting will always sound fake. Arisu wastes no time and dramatically drops to one knee, proposing the most ridiculous plan imaginable. She should become his girlfriend for 3 weeks, exactly until the audition date. Nene stares at him like he has escaped from a mental hospital. He explains the strategy with full seriousness. For 3 weeks they will live like the manga couple. He will act as the loyal soldier and she as the delicate princess. Through this fake romance, she will awaken genuine emotions and deliver perfect acting. Nene initially declares she would rather die, but Arisu reminds her that this is for her dream, not his. And since the manga is her favorite, she reluctantly agrees. From that day, the two begin performing love in broad daylight, and the entire school loses its mind. Students gossip about how a princess could fall for a random soldier, mirroring the manga storyline. Arisu and Nene hold hands, stroll around like real lovers, and reenact scene after scene from the book. He lifts her into his arms, copies iconic panels, and basically turns school life into a live-action cringe festival. Nene realizes with horror that the final chapter of the manga ends with a kiss, meaning she might actually have to lock lips with this lunatic after 3 weeks. Days pass as they complete every ridiculous task from the story, boating together, dramatic embraces, endless cheesy dialogues. Finally, the last day arrives, the moment of the legendary kiss. Nene becomes a nervous wreck, wondering if Arisu planned all this just to steal one smooch. Yet, she also knows he is not that kind of guy. Rules are rules, so she even applies lipstick and prepares herself like a soldier marching to doom. When she approaches him for the final scene, Arisu suddenly refuses. Nene is shocked, demanding to know why he is backing out after they practiced everything. Arisu calmly says they have trained enough and that such a moment should be saved for someone she truly loves, not wasted on an experiment. Nene cannot decide whether to scream at him or feel touched. She simply warns that he will regret this day and storms off to the audition. After returning, she reveals the brutal truth: she was rejected. Arisu almost faints, devastated that his supposedly flawless plan collapsed like a cheap plastic chair. Nene explains that neither of them was at fault. The author had already chosen favorites, and the audition was just a formality. Arisu lies down in despair like a dead knight who has lost all hope, and the scene mirrors the ending of the manga perfectly. Seeing this, Nene reenacts the final chapter herself. She bends down and secretly kisses the cover of the book instead of him, just like the princess kissing the knight's helmet so nobody notices. Arisu, however, catches on and grabs her, accusing her of kissing him and teasing that maybe she has fallen in love. Nene turns tomato red and slams him to the ground, screaming that she hates him more than anything. The other girls wisely stay out of the battlefield to avoid becoming collateral damage. Arisu whines that he had no idea she despised him so much, but Shinobu reminds him of one crucial detail. Whenever Nene lies, her ears turn bright red, and right on cue, her ears are glowing crimson, proving that her "I hate you" declaration was nothing but a massive lie.
And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and feel free to write whatever you want in the comments section. Thank you for watching.